Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show, and welcome back to yet another Top 5. You know, there's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of unnecessary hatred and anger and spitefulness towards video games. From the very gamers that play them and love games, or at least they claim to love games, with some of the nasty evil shit that is said in comment sections nowadays about video games. I have trouble believing that sometimes. So here are 5 video games that don't and didn't deserve the hate. These are quality products, not bad games. While you have every right to dislike a game or not be interested by a game, to simply hate these 5 video games and to call them bad games is just wrong and a lie. So here are the top 5 video games that don't deserve the hate.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
Number 5. Call of Duty, the video game series. That's right, for number 5, we're cheating a bit. We're not talking about just one game, we're talking about the entire series known as Call of Duty. Now, you all know about Call of Duty, you know what it is. If you know anything about video games, if you are into the gaming community and the industry, if you do any research on video games, well, you know about Call of Duty, it's impossible not to. It has become a household name, and that pisses a lot of people off. Honestly, me included. I put these games at number 5, at the bottom of the list, because I can kind of understand the hatred towards these games. Not necessarily because they're bad games, or they do anything specifically wrong. It's their popularity and the influence they have had on the gaming industry. Because Call of Duty is top dog, because it is selling the most copies, and because millions of people play the multiplayer for hours on end, every single day, that makes video game publishers and developers believe that this is what the people want. This is what the masses want. More Call of Duty-like games. So they start making games or changing aspects of their original games to emulate the elements of Call of Duty and hopefully its popularities and sales along with it. Therefore, I can understand the frustration because of the popularity of Call of Duty, because there are mindless drones who buy and play nothing but Call of Duty in the millions. It leaves a stain, a mark, almost a parasite on the industry that is sucking it dry, with so many video games trying to top COD by trying to become it. But if we were to look away from the influence that Call of Duty has created, if we were to look at the games themselves, they're not bad games, guys. I can understand the hatred towards Call of Duty for its influences on the industry, but the hell, guys. The actual video games themselves, even Call of Duty Ghosts, they aren't bad games. They are well-made products. There is obviously work put into them. Yes, they feel like very manufactured games. Yes, they feel almost very, in a word, soulless. But the actual games themselves, the gameplay, the graphics, it's all functional. The games are functional, the games are good looking, and the games can be fun to play. We simply cannot deny that. That is fact. While I can understand the hatred, it's just not 100% justified.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
Number 4. Titanfall. Titanfall is a good game. Period. The hatred towards Titanfall is just bizarre. The people who say they hate Titanfall, if you dislike the game, you dislike a game. Some video games just aren't for everybody. That's a thing. It's understandable. That happens. But people who genuinely and passionately hate Titanfall, their arguments for hating Titanfall are usually outlandish and bizarre. Grrr, Titanfall lacks content. The game has 24 maps, 20 free weapons, and 12 different game modes. What the hell are you talking about? Grr, Titanfall is just Call of Duty with mechs. Yes, because Call of Duty has wall running, double jumping, AI minions that fight alongside you on the battlefield. Oh yes, Call of Duty absolutely has burn cards. What the hell are you talking about? Grr, Titanfall doesn't have single player and its multiplayer campaign sucks, it's just multiplayer matches. Okay, true. Titanfall's campaign mode is just multiplayer matches with cutscenes at the beginning and end of them. Yes, it's nothing special. But you fools don't even play single player! The people who make this complaint that Call of Duty doesn't have single player or a good campaign mode, a majority of them, while there are a rare few who can justifiably make this claim, a majority of people who complain about this are people who don't even play single player, but mostly play only multiplayer. So what the hell are you talking about? I really cannot comprehend actual hatred towards Titanfall. I just can't comprehend it. I'm sorry, but if you think Titanfall is a bad game, you don't know what a good game is then.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
Number 3, Watch Dogs. Now, you are free to dislike Watch Dogs. If it isn't your kind of game, if it doesn't suit your tastes, that's fine. But if you hate Watch Dogs, if you genuinely hate it with a passion and think it's a bad game, I have to ask, what the hell is wrong with you? A majority of the people who hate Watch Dogs and say nasty things about it usually all boils down to the same thing, them repeating the same thing over and over again. The gunplay is bad, the driving is bad, the story is bad. Just calling everything bad, it's all bad, it's all bad. There's a difference between disliking something and something being actually bad. I mean, let's look at Watch Dogs objectively. Does it have a lot of content to justify its price value? Absolutely. Are the controls responsive, smooth? Yes, they are. Does the game give you the means and capabilities to have freedom in how you play the game? Yes, it does. Does the game have good graphics? Yes, it does. Don't lie to me and tell me that the game's graphics are shit. Yes, they don't look exactly the same as an E3 trailer from years ago, but if you look at Watch Dogs as it is, the graphics are good. They are above average. They are quality. Is the audio work good? The voice acting, the sound effects, the music? Yes, they're all good. They're all quality. So, looking at Watch Dogs objectively, it is not, in no way, shape, or form, a bad product. Oh, what? Because Watch Dogs didn't live up to the hype that you generated, the unrealistic parasitic lie that is hype? Because you fell for it, and the game didn't live up to it, as no game ever does? You now hate the game? You're allowed to dislike Watch Dogs. You're allowed to dislike aspects of Watch Dogs. But if you hate Watch Dogs, and you think it's a bad game, then there's something wrong with you, and you don't know what a good game is.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
Number 2, Evolve. Evolve is a good game. Period. It is a good game. You're allowed to dislike Evolve. Evolve may not be your cup of tea. You may have problems in the game. There may be stuff in the game that just isn't for you, and that is perfectly fine. Perfectly understandable, perfectly natural, as I've stated before. Some video games just aren't for everybody. Everybody has different tastes. But if you genuinely hate Evolve, and you go out of your way to share that hatred of Evolve, and if you hate Evolve because there's a lot of walking and running in the game, or because of the DLC to be found in the game, I'm sorry, but there is no justification for that hatred. First off, let's discuss the whole walking running simulator joke. Yes, there's a lot of walking. There's a lot of running in this video game. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of walking and running in, oh my goodness, just about every video game. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Minecraft, League of Legends, oh my god, so much walking and running. All video games, they must be terrible. They must all be walking and running simulators. Oh, the horror. I mean, seriously, people. It's like you're desperately digging for stuff to criticize this game over. I mean, if you love Minecraft or DayZ or any other video game which you know for a fact has a lot of walking and running in it, if you love that video game but hate Evolve because there's a lot of walking and running in it, come on, you have to admit you're being a bit hypocritical. Also, most of the people who complain that there's a lot of walking and running in Evolve are mostly playing Hunt Mode. To the people who only choose to play Hunt Mode in Evolve and ignore the other game modes on purpose, I say to you, there's other bloody game modes. If you're not liking Hunt, if you're not enjoying the Hunt game mode, try Nest, try Rescue, try Defend. Nothing's stopping you from playing the other game modes with friends or by yourself with bots in solo mode. And now, for the people who hate Evolve because of its DLC. If you hate Evolve because of its DLC, then you are being an enormous hypocrite. Yes, Evolve has over $100 worth of DLC, but do you know what other video games have over $100 worth of DLC? Call of Duty, Payday 2, Borderlands 2. Hell, you know what? Free-to-play games are even more expensive than Evolve and its DLC. If you want to buy every single character in League of Legends, that's going to cost you thousands of dollars. If you want to buy every single character and weapon in Warframe, that's going to cost you thousands of dollars. I'm sorry, you simply cannot hate Evolve over its expensive DLC and then let all these other video games slide by. You can't say Evolve has a DLC controversy when these DLC controversies have been going on for years. All these other games don't get a free pass if you're gonna bitch at Evolve. Or worse yet, hate Evolve. And I'm sorry, but honestly, truly, if you think Evolve is a bad game, if you think Evolve is a shit game, if you dislike the game, that's fine. If the game's just not for you, it's fine. But if you believe Evolve to genuinely be a bad product, I'm sorry, then you don't know what a good video game is. And before I reveal the #1 video game that simply does not deserve the hate, here is a quick recap of the last 4 games.
We're alone but far from blue. Yeah. Before we get finished, we'll make the town roar. We'll hit a few late spots and then a few more. We'll start out as strings or maybe crowd shows. Life is gonna be a wow wow wee for my shadow and me. Oh mate, that was awesome.
And the #1 video game that did not deserve the hate is easily DMC Devil May Cry. The amount of hatred DMC Devil May Cry got back in the day in 2013, and even shockingly still gets today, is abhorrent, horrible, disgusting. The amount of hatred, a simple campaign of hatred that was directed towards this video game and its developer was simply evil. It was fucking evil. Death threats towards the developers, unrealistic, over-the-top critical examinations and nitpicking of the game. People who literally made multiple Metacritic accounts just to lower the game's score. On Metacritic! That's just wrong! It's just fucking wrong! And all this shit happened before the game was even released! And when the game was released, it's arguable whether it got worse or if it died down. However, I think this campaign of hatred was at its worst before the game even came out. In all my years of gaming, I have never seen a single video game that got so much unrealistic, unreasonable hatred, because when you look at the actual video game, objectively, DMZ Devil May Cry is a genuinely good product. It has enough content to validate its price tag. It's a well-polished video game with a lack of bugs and glitches. The controls are fluid, easy to get a hold of. And graphically, the game is a good-looking game. You can't tell me DMZ Devil May Cry is not a graphically impressive game. You're lying if you're not. You are honest to God lying and making up BS if you're saying that the graphical fidelity of DMZ Devil May Cry is below average. That's a simple lie. Lighting is good, textures are good, animations are great. Also the color palette of this game, the art style, mwah, magnifico. Such a wonderful emphasis on color. And for those of you hardcore Devil May Cry fans who are upset because they changed everything, because this is a remake slash reboot slash spin-off. Actually, wait a second. Why would you be angry about that? If it's a reboot slash remake slash spin-off, if it's those three things or one of those three things, then it doesn't affect the original Devil May Cry games. The only thing this game shares, DMZ Devil May Cry shares with the original Devil May Cries, is the title of the game and the names of a few characters and weapons. Other than that, these are two completely separate beasts. Also, if this remake slash reboot slash spin-off bothered you so much, why did you even pay it attention? If you don't like something, then don't pay it attention and it won't bother you. Instead, what did you guys choose to do? Waste hours of your life creating a campaign of hatred for a video game that didn't affect you. This game didn't affect you. If you liked the original Devil May Cries and were not interested in a remake slash reboot slash spin-off, then all you had to do was pay this game no mind and you can just enjoy your original action game classics. The hatred towards DMZ Devil May Cry is unreasonable, illogical, and irrational. It's despicable, is what it is. You're allowed to dislike DMZ Devil May Cry. But to passionately hate it? Well, that's just a really silly thing to do. And to call DMC a shit game or a bad game, that's just wrong. And if you think DMZ Devil May Cry is a shit game, a bad game, then I'm sorry, buddy. You don't know what a good video game is then.